All right, so let's get started. So today we're going to go over how to spot an intraday bottom reversal. Looking for the bottom and looking for the bounce, and how to spot that before the big move happens. Right? Anybody can spot it after it's already running up, but how do you spot it before the big move, and that way you can take advantage of the majority of that big move. We're going to focus on a ticker PIK on Thursday. So we're looking at PIK on Thursday of last week. The person in my Discord group that suggested this session had a particular interest on this ticker on Thursday. Basically, he wanted to try to identify how to look out for these pre-market runners that kind of tick down after the opening bell rings and then run again later during the day, right? So how do you take advantage of that? Okay, so that's what we're going to focus on during this session. And before we get to taking a look at PIK, let's get a few things out of the way, and then we'll focus on that. So what are some of the things that we can look for to identify a bottom reversal? We're talking an intraday bottom reversal. We're not talking about a long-term trend reversal on the daily chart. We're talking about an intraday bottom reversal. So what are some of the things that we can look for? Well, for you guys that have been in my Discord for any amount of time, y'all know that volume for me is number one. That's my most key thing. So is volume slowing down on that downtrend, right? Are sellers done selling? Are the sellers getting weaker? Are buyers getting stronger? So you're watching for that volume to slow down on that downtrend. Fix this here real quick. So volume is very key. We know that when volume starts to slow down on a downtrend, that supply or sellers are weakening, right? And if volume starts increasing, then maybe from a support level, then demand is increasing, right? So that's obviously bullish. The second thing that we want to look at are support and resistance levels. And I try and pay more attention to higher time frame support and resistance levels. Yes, you can look at intraday support and resistance levels. You can look at pre-market support and resistance levels, yesterday's levels, whatever you want. But the ones that are typically more key are the higher time frame. So, daily chart, obviously, even the weekly chart, 4-hour chart, things like that. So those are very, very key to look at. And I'm kind of going in order of what I think is most important, just my opinion. So volume, support, and resistance levels. And the next thing you want to look at is organic resistance levels, especially on a stock that's trading around $3, right? So, maybe we can see some organic support at $3, and we're going to take a look at that. So, but keep in mind that, when we're talking about organic resistance levels, we're talking, you have to keep in mind what the price of the stock is. Let's take Tesla, for example, right? Would a 50-cent level be key on Tesla? Well, no, right? It's not going to be key. But on a stock that's trading at $2, a 50-cent level is pretty key, right? So, make sure that when you're looking at those organic resistance levels that you're, matching it up with the price of the stock. We also want to look at RSI, right? Is it oversold? Is it overbought? If you're looking for a top reversal. RSI is very important. RSI divergence is very important. And, we're going to look at some of that today. Okay, and so another thing we want to look at is our candle patterns, right? So if we're coming down to what we think may be the bottom, what does our candle patterns look like? Do we have a doji? Do we have a hammer down there? Do we have a morning star? Blah, blah, blah. Do we have a double bottom? Are the candle bodies getting flat? How do the wicks look? Are there any bottom wicks down there showing support, right? Did we have a double bottom? Also, another thing that I like is I like to see consolidation after a significant move down, right? Because that kind of shows you, okay, well, now we're kind of battling at this area. We have buyers and we have sellers. After that significant move down, now the sellers are no longer in charge. Now it's just kind of ticking sideways. That's another thing that I like to look at. Something else you can look at on the move back up, if you don't catch the actual bottom, you can look for something really easy like a moving average cross. When the 9 EMA crosses back above the 20. Well, obviously that's showing a momentum shift, right? Again, if you don't catch the exact bottom, are we making higher highs and higher lows, right? And if we are making higher highs and higher lows, instead of chasing it on the way up, it's much better in most cases to wait for the pullback to the higher low for your entry. Okay, so let's take a look at pick here. And this particular example on Thursday, the person that's in our Discord that suggested this particular session wanted to know how we could identify this bounce here at 307, because basically this thing ran some in pre-market, as you can see, from $1.84 to 3 something, popped a little bit at the bell, and then after the bell it just kind of sold off, and then had a bounce at 307 here on this candle here, and then ended up going back up to, I think, over $6 for the day. Yeah, it went to 619 for the day. So that's a pretty nice move. So, his whole thing is, hey, how do we take advantage of that? I want to make money on that move. So tell me how to do that. So let's start talking about that a little bit, and let's keep in mind of the things that I just went over about what we want to look for, right? So let's draw a little support line here at 307. And I'm going to make it a different color so it doesn't mess me up for later. So we're going to make it this gold color here. Okay, so first thing first, let's take a look at the daily chart, and let's see if that 307 level was a significant level, right? So here we are on the daily chart. So it looks like right here, you can see that 307 level there. Looks like right here back on February the 22nd, it saw, well, actually the 23rd, it saw some resistance there at that level, right? Let's take a look at another time frame. Let's look at the 4-hour chart. So here is that same area here on the 4-hour chart, right? Saw some support there at that same, I'm sorry, back over here. Saw some resistance right there on that 307 level here. So that's what it looks like on the 4-hour chart. Let's take a look at the 1-hour chart. So that's that day. Back over here. So here's that same area on the 1-hour chart, right? So it did see some support here, resistance here. So this is looking like it might be an area that you might want to focus on, right? So let's go back to the daily chart real quick. I want to show you guys one other thing. As I was looking at this a little deeper, I saw that really it wasn't that 307 level that was more key. It was this candle here where we saw some support at $3. Okay, so this daily candle closed at $3, and this candle here where it showed resistance was 311, because that's where that was the resistance level. So what I would do is I would look at that as a zone. Okay, so anywhere between $3 and 311, we could possibly see a trend change or a bounce, right? So I would draw a zone of that $3 to 311. And if you don't want to watch the ticker, that's fine. You can set up a chart alert to set it for 315 or whatever you want to alert you that, hey, this stock is getting down to that area where we might see a bounce, right? That way it would alert you, and then you could take a look at it and see if a bounce is going to happen. Okay, so let's flip back over to the 1 minute here. I have to do 2 days because this happened on Thursday. Okay, so we're back here on Thursday. Okay, so let's take a look at one more thing. All right, something else is important, not just intraday support levels, but we also want to look at what happened pre-market, right? So let's see if that 307 area was significant pre-market on Thursday. Well, as you can see, it was, right? So we saw some support here. Now there's a theory out there. I've added all of these shares up. Basically what took place during this consolidation phase. Let me change my drawing tool there. During this consolidation phase here, I added up those, not that far down, I drew it too big, but maybe right here, right in this area here. I added up all those shares. So there wasn't a lot of price movement there, right? You know, we're talking about, you know, 280 to what, maybe 310, 315. But there was 3.8 million shares traded there, okay? That's a lot of shares. You know, you take that times 307 and it's a lot of money, right? So there's a theory, and you know, I've found for it to be true quite often, and I could point you guys to you know what that theory is that's when these market makers, the smart money people, are loading up these shares. All right, so once they load up that many shares, then they're going to protect that area, and they were looking to make that bigger move up. Whether that's true or not, I have no idea. But anyway, that is certainly a theory that's out there. So, but either way, whether it was smart money or not, 3.8 million shares, that's a lot of money. So people have loaded that position up there, loaded those positions up there, you know, looking for that move later on. So we did see that 307 was a key area pre-market, right? Okay, so let's get back over here and let's see what all took place on that area. Okay, so the very first thing that I'm going to notice, or actually the first two things that I'm going to notice, is I'm going to notice the volume spike, right here. You know, this is my drawing tools on there. Hold on one moment. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this volume spike is going to correlate directly with that particular candle, right? And if you look at what's been going on just prior to that, that's pretty big relative volume, okay? Right off of that 307 level, which we saw, again, that was significant in pre-market, right? Okay, because, you know, we had that big run up in pre-market, and then that's where we consolidated right there before the other pop up. Okay, let's look at a couple other things. So not only did we have volume come in right there, but we also had a nice bottom wick, right? Wicks are very important. You know, it shows right there at that bottom wick that area is being protected. Buyers like that area to buy shares. So we had good volume. We had a nice bottom wick. Do you guys see anything else? I have RSI on there for a reason. So let's expand that RSI just a little bit so we can see it better. And let's see, besides the bottom wick and besides volume, what else did we have? Well, let me change my RSI settings here. I just added it there, didn't change them. So I need to change this. Since we're looking at a 1 minute chart, I'm going to change this to a 4 and 80/20. For any of you guys that don't know, you may check out the video on RSI that I have, because if you're using just the default RSI setting length on a 1 minute chart, it's not going to be accurate. Okay, so let's take a look at what RSI did. So we had a move down from, so let's take this candle here. Okay, you guys can see where that is. So it's basically from here. You get, my drawing tool is not cooperating today. Okay, so basically from this area here goes to this candle. From here, well, I tell you, man, okay, there we go. I think it's working. Yeah, it's working now. Okay, so from here to here, right? That's the RSI that correlates with that candle, and then this candle is from here to here, right? So what's happening with RSI there? So we had a move down, right? And we had this move down from here to here. But what did RSI do during that time? Did it move down? No, it moved up, right? So not only do we have volume, not only did we have a nice bottom wick, but we also had RSI divergence, right? That's another key component that you want to take a look at. So what all did we have? So we had a key area, right, from $3 to $3.11 on the daily chart. We had that same area showing significance in pre-market, right? And we saw how many shares were traded during that consolidation phase there. A lot of shares were certainly loaded up, right? We saw volume, bottom wick, RSI divergence, key level. So those are all things that would point to, hey, this looks like it. We could be getting a bounce here. And then now, even if you missed this first area, now keep in mind what we're doing here. After we made this move up here, we came down here and we made a higher low, right? We bounced up again, small pullback, another higher low, bounced up again, right? So, keep all of those things in mind. Even if you miss this, this bottom, if you didn't realize that, hey, 307 area might be a significant area to look at, once it already happens, you can still take advantage of it, right? And once that bounce does start to happen, then, you want to check out why it happened there. Right? Is that a significant level? Because what could certainly happen is that we could get just a small bounce. Let's say this 307 wasn't a significant area, right? So we could just get a small bounce here, and then it'd go right back down. Don't know what happened there. Sorry, guys. My drawing tool's really not liking me today, giving me trouble. Okay, so that's what could happen is we could have a small bounce up, and then we could just pull right back on down. So make sure that that you're keeping an eye on those key levels. This is one that I wasn't focused on Thursday, so I did not trade this one, and I didn't even realize that this was a key level. I didn't know about the setup. I only recognized it after it was suggested to me by one of our Discord members. And then basically, hey, why did this happen? And then I took a look at it and found all these reasons as to why it did happen. So that's really all of the examples that I have. I just wanted to go over that one particular stock because that was the one that was in question. But this would apply to any stock that you want to take a look at. We just want to make sure and look at all of those different things. So as a recap, you want to take a look at volume. Is it increasing at a key level? You want to take a look at your pullbacks and your price action coming up to that possible bounce, right? Are the pullbacks getting deeper or are they getting more shallow? What does your price action look like coming down to that key level? Is it doing this here? Not the best artist in the world, or are the pullbacks getting more shallow, like this, right? What do the pullbacks look like leading up to that particular bounce? All of that stuff is significant to keep an eye on, and the more of those that you can get to match up, the better, right? Okay, so I'm going to stop the recording now, and we're going to have some questions